In this video, you're going to learn how to light your productivity on fire by connecting your regular AI to one of the most powerful apps that lives on your computer that almost nobody talks about. 8 weeks ago, I found out that the last 10 years of my life were almost a complete waste. Since 2015, I've taught myself 7 programming languages with one goal: to automate the boring tasks out of my life. Then 3 apps came along and packaged everything I had spent a decade learning into something that anyone can literally pick up in minutes. In the next 10 minutes, I'll show you 6 ridiculously easy steps that will help you automate the repetitive tasks out of your day. Emails, data entry, reports, all of it. So you can stop trading your time for busy work and take back your schedule. By the end, you will know how to use these 3 apps, and I guarantee you will think differently about the way you work. Let me show you. Okay, we're going to keep this super tactical. We're just going to go through things that you can do right now. We're going to move fast. So the first thing is you need to download Visual Studio Code. So go to code.visualstudio.com. It will show up for your exact computer type. You'll just click the button and you'll download VS Code. Okay, so once you have it downloaded, you're going to come over here to your extensions. You're going to see a screen that looks like this. And you're going to come over here to your extensions and you're going to type in Claude Code right here. And this is the app that you'll be using. You'll just hit install and then you'll have it available to you here. So in order for this to work, you have to have the Claude Pro version, which is like $20 a month. So if you're not excited about paying $20 a month, there is a free version of this. I'll show you those apps at the end, the free alternative that you can use. But for now, I'm just going to assume that 20 bucks a month is okay, and we'll just go forward. Okay, so now we're going to open a folder, and in order to do that, obviously we need to have a folder that exists. So we're going to come over here to Finder. I'm just going to do it in Documents. We're going to do a new folder, and we're going to call this one YouTube Demo. And now we're going to come over here, and we're going to open that folder that we just created. So go to Documents, and we'll look for YouTube Demo. There it is. We'll open, and now we have access to that folder here in Visual Studio Code. And this will make a lot more sense as we go, but Visual Studio Code is amazing because it allows us to have a visual representation of our computer, so it's a lot easier to follow. So you'll see that we're going to start populating some folders here. Okay, and then at this point you should have a little icon up here that is the Claude logo. If you click on that Claude logo, it'll open up a window that looks kind of like ChatGPT a little bit. And this is where we're going to do all of our work. So the cool thing again about Visual Studio Code is that it's a visual way to see what is happening on your computers and to bring multiple tools together. So Claude Code is one tool, and then we can have our file system here. So the cool thing is that Claude Code now has access to our file system, to this YouTube demo folder, so it can start modifying the files in that folder, and that's where all the power comes, because now you can keep all the context in your folders. So as soon as Claude Code opens, it's now able to read what is happening in that folder, so you don't have to tell it over and over and over and over again every time you start it what you want it to do. It can read the folder and it can start right away. So this is a huge advantage when comparing it to the Claude maybe on the web browser or ChatGPT, is that this has access to your folder system. It makes it significantly faster. Now what we're going to do today is we're going to transfer some invoices. So we're going to come here, and we have invoices right here. We're going to transfer that to YouTube demo. So now we transferred our invoices over to YouTube demo. This is 1,000 invoices that we are going to use Claude Code to process, and we're going to turn it into a CSV, so that, because this stuff by hand would take hours and hours and hours and hours, and Claude Code can help us do it in seconds, literally. So now you'll come over here to our Visual Studio Code, and you see the invoices is here. So we have access to all of those different invoices, and Claude Code can see those invoices. Now, we're not going to have Claude Code process those invoices. We're actually going to build a Python automation here using Claude Code. And the beautiful part, again, this is why I essentially wasted the last 10 years of my life, is because I've learned 7 programming languages, and now Claude can do it better than I can. And it can help anybody, no matter how much coding experience is, even if they have 0 coding experience. It can help you build automations using very complex code by just having a conversation with it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to tell Claude that we want to process all of those invoices in that file using Python, and then we want to output it in a CSV, and we're just going to watch what happens. Can you help me analyze all of the invoices, probably by building a Python script? And then we want to take all of the line items from every single one of these 1,000 invoices and put it into an organized CSV that that we can upload to Google Sheets or anywhere else. Okay, so now we've started the conversation. One other step that you'll probably need to do on your computer is download Python for your computer. So we're going to come over here and we're just going to type in Google download Python. We're going to come here and then you can just download the latest version of Python. Then you just go through the downloading process and get it integrated in your computer, and then everything is going to work just fine. So now that we're back here, we're going to allow this to look through our folder system. We give it permission. You can set Claude Code so that it doesn't ask for permission, but I typically tell it to ask for permission just so that I can make sure I know what it's doing. And so it's going to ask us for permission in a couple of different places. So yes. So now you can see it's importing some of these packages that will help us to analyze these PDFs. So now let's go through and doing all the Python packages that it needs to install. And now it's showing us the to-dos. So install PDF parsing library, it just finished that. Now build Python script to extract all invoice line items. So now if we look up here, you'll see that there are some extra files that have been added. So the .vem file, which is called a virtual environment. And this is part of the beauty is you don't need to know what this is because Claude knows what it is, and it's going to help make the project flow smoothly. So it's just running. Okay, so now it's going to ask us permission to make this file right here. So you see all this Python code that it has written for us. And all we have to do is say, yes, we allow it to write. And then you're going to see it pop up right here. So extractinvoices.py is now in our folder. And you can verify that. If you come over here, you'll see extractinvoices.py. Okay, so now it tells us that all 1,000 invoices were processed with 0 errors, and it verified the output, and it put it right here, all invoice line items. And you can see this is just an example. So it says there are 1,000, this kind of gives the results. 1,000 invoices processed, 11,664 line items extracted. And not only to do it in a few seconds, but it literally only took us like 5 minutes to build the thing and then have it process it. Imagine how many hours you would have spent analyzing these invoices if you had to go through it by hand, line item by line item. It would have taken forever. And we just built and executed the system in like 5 minutes. So you can see what I'm saying. Now you have the expertise basically in Claude Code as if you knew Python, as if you had studied Python for 10 years. And you have it right here at your fingertips. You can download it in minutes and have things working within minutes, and then the execution is within seconds. So you can start to imagine just how much time this will save you. This is one teeny tiny example. We're not even scratching the surface whatsoever on the capability of this system. And if you adopt it and you start applying it in your work life, you are going to start saving yourself an extraordinary amount of time every single day. So now let's go ahead and let's open up this CSV and we'll see those 11,000 line items. So here we go. Look at this scroll bar. It's going to take forever for us to get to the bottom. And you just see all of these different line items are added to this, and it did it in seconds. So this is crazy. Okay, and then like I mentioned, I'm going to show you two other options that you have in terms of the AI that you can use in this way. So we've seen Claude Code, which is the one that I prefer to use. I think it's the most effective. It seems to be the most accurate and seems to do the best job for the tasks, at least that I've done. But there are two other ones that I use as well. So we're going to go over those. The first one is Codex. So this is OpenAI's version. So this one is not free. It costs similar. It's around $20 per month. You do get a little bit more in terms of the token usage. It seems to be just a little bit more efficient, but then with many of the tasks, it just doesn't quite do as good of a job as Claude does. And then the last one is the one that is free, and it actually does a very good job. Now, sometimes you'll run into limits in the free version that say the servers are pretty busy and it will kind of pause you. So that's the downside, but it's a great way to get your feet wet, to get started. And that is called the Gemini CLI. And you may need to have Node installed on your computer to use it the way that we're going to outline. Right here, if you come back to extensions in Visual Studio Code, you can search for Codex and it will show up right here as well. So you'd click here and then you just install that and then you can use it just like we did, that we use Claude Code. And the same thing goes for Gemini CLI, which you can download here as well into Visual Studio Code. And again, I'm not totally sure if you need to have Node installed on your computer. If you do, you can just go through, you can just look up node install, and you'll just like follow the examples here. You can use these installer packages as well, and then these things will work on your computer. Now, let me just show you something as a little bit of a bonus because I actually I don't use Claude Code, Codex, or Gemini like this. I actually use something that's called the terminal, and it sounds a lot more intimidating than it actually is. But let's take, for example, if we go into YouTube demo, we're going to go back one, and we're going to right click on YouTube demo, and then we're going to come down here to New Terminal at Folder, and then you'll see that we have this terminal window, and this looks intimidating. Again, this is kind of for programmers most of the time, but once you get these things installed, it's really easy. So I'll show you. So for example, we can just type Claude right here, and then it opens up Claude Code just like that. So now this is identical to this. We're running the exact same thing, and we have access to everything that is in the YouTube demo folder. And now we can just talk to it just like we did here. Now you don't see it, it's not as visual as it is over here in Studio Code, but once you get used to it, it's really, really powerful. So we'll close out of that. That's how you do Gemini. You do double C, and then the other one is Codex. Codex. You can just type Codex here, and it opens up, and you're doing the same thing here now. You can just talk with Codex, and it will modify your files, and it will do anything that you can do over here in Visual Studio Code, and even sometimes more you can do here. So that's Codex. And then the last one is Gemini. You just type in Gemini and it opens up. And now I'll just show you a demo. This is the free version. You can use this just like basically the Gemini here, like what is spec-driven development. And then you have here, you have your AI overview. You can come here in deeper AI mode, deep dive AI mode. And then you can talk to the AI in Google. Well, that's basically what this is right here, except for the fact that now it has access to the files that are in the folder that you're in. So you can see right here, this also has access to YouTube demo. And we can do all the things that we did with Claude with Gemini here. And this one is free. You don't have to pay for it. Again, sometimes you have a little bit of lagginess because you're on the free version. But if you want to get started, you can just do this one for free. And it's very, very good. And they continue to make improvements. So that's all you have to do to access these AI LLMs, these large language models, in your terminal and use them to modify your folders and to have all the context from the folder. And so then we'll just do a quick example. You can say, just like we asked here, what is spec-driven development? I mean, this is a really, really simple thing. Now you're just using it as a chat agent. So it says spec-driven development is this, blah, blah, blah. It's just giving us a big, long answer. So you can do stuff like that. It will search. And now let's say that we do a Google search and we say, oh, okay, I want to save these answers. We can say, can you save that response as a markdown file? And then you're going to see it create a file right here. And we'll do open with text edit. So now you see it just made this file for us. It took that response and just put it in this file so that we'll always have it. So you can see how nice it is that this LLM, that Gemini has access to your folder system, because then it has the context and you can just do things right here. So again, this one's free, great way to go, at least a great way to get started. And if you don't like it like this, you can use the Visual Studio Code where you can see it a little bit more and maybe it feels a little bit more natural, like you're chatting with ChatGPT, but this is the way that I always work. Again, like I say, this is barely scratching the surface. That's the point of automationhackers.net. There's a link in the description if you want to stay up to date with all of the projects that we're working on and that you can download. Then just go and make a free account. It doesn't cost you anything, zero obligation, and you just get all access to all of the examples, all the templates, all the prompts, everything that we're building on this YouTube channel. You get access to, and it's all for free. So go to the link in the description. You can click on that and you just sign up. You create a free account and you're going to be able to watch and stay in the know of all the different things that you're going to be able to do with Claude Code. And again, you're skipping decades of time and decades of blood, sweat, and tears and learning these skills. And we're handing it to you, and it's being handed, and Claude Code is doing it for you in minutes.